Alright, so, hello everyone, and welcome back to Factorio. So let's click resume and get back into it. So when we last left off, we were over on Fulgora, and we were building this whole thing. And this was for large-scale production of legendary, mostly red and green circuits. And it definitely... Let's see here. If I remember correctly, we needed to, We needed to... Gosh, what actually were we doing? Did we just need to build this? I think... It's hard to remember, but I think we're almost at the point where it just needs to get built. And then these splitters connect up to the supply of legendary stuff. So we've got that, and then... Oh, this is wrong, actually. So this was supposed to be connecting up all the legendary stuff. So we have the stuff coming off of this belt, which is output from here. Oh wait, no, was that right? Yes, that was correct. Sorry. These two belts are coming in from different directions and it's confusing. So this has to be a legendary filter to the right. And then all that stuff just merges up into this belt, which then we do something with. Alright, so we've got that. We have this whole thing set up, and we've got all of this. And we have our inputs here. So what we need is we need to get these pipes across and do something like that. And then they run along like that. So that would be the sulfuric acid input, which we're probably going to need quite a lot of. And let's see, so these guys, if I recall correctly, each of these outputs a stack of green circuits every 2 seconds and a stack of red circuits every 20 seconds. And we have 40 of them in this row, which will then therefore give us 2 stacks of green circuit per second and a stack of red circuits every, I don't know, every couple seconds. I don't know exactly how that works, but then we've got these outputs, and we just kind of need to build these things. Oh, so one thing which I wanted to do was get as much of this up to legendary quality machines as possible. So can we find EM plant production? How does that work, and how can we make it legendary? So you're in here. Your steel plates, blue circuits, holmium plates, and refined concrete. So the steel plates, blue circuits, and holmium plates, all of those are pretty easy. Refined concrete is steel plates, iron sticks, concrete, and water. So we're going to need to do concrete cycling to get that. Alright, so that's going to be a separate step, probably. Now let's see. We have a bunch of concrete. Like, we could do it. It wouldn't be that hard. But I think for now we'll just leave that as is. We do have legendary beacons, though, right? So we've got regular beacons. And are you requesting legendary beacons? No, you aren't. I definitely want you to. So you can request, like, 50 legendary beacons. And then Fulgora support, you are picking those up. Let's have you pick up more of them at once, though, because we want to get a whole bunch of them. There aren't that many on the planet, so it's going to be a bit tough to get through. How many of these do we have stockpiled? Just an additional 5, and it is red circuit limited, because of course it is. Everything is always red circuit limited. We do have enough, apparently, to get something done with that. So Fulgora support has 20 of these. That's fine. Those can show up eventually. So now what I think we want to do is just start actually building this. So let's copy that whole thing, bring it over here, and actually, yeah, it's a bit annoying, but I think we're going to want to dismantle this previous setup. We don't want to dismantle the sulfuric acid production portion of it, though. So we're going to have to be a little bit precise on our dismantling work. But we just take that out, then we cut out all of this, and the time for precision is mostly done. Now we just sort of sweep out all of this stuff, and then we see what we're left with once all that has been finished. Let's get the Spidertron over there to help with the construction. So off you go. And the Spidertron's coming over here. That'll help out a lot, but we also just have a whole massive number of drones doing this. And right, that side has been disconnected from power, but power grid is just fine. Drones are probably coming over here now, and the Spidertron is doing a whole lot of work in a couple different ways. His inventory is unfortunately filled with junk at the moment. So we're going to have to wait for him to clear out all that junk. And there it goes. We're going to have to queue up some of that stuff to get removed as well. And let's get the Spidertron over this way. Maybe actually having it walk back over towards the... Yeah, actually, I think having the Spidertron over this way will be much better, because that's where the storage is, so it can empty out quickly. And yeah, so these guys are having difficulties now because everything over here got dismantled, including the drone ports, which I think we need to just get the drone ports back in. So let's get the drone ports back in. And then also we have to bring power down to them. Oh, this is such a mess. But yeah, it's going to be something like that. And then all the way up to there. Alright, so the Spidertron is over here. And should now be in good position to get everything cleared out. We apparently only have 975 construction bots and 597 logistics bots, which is really not all that many. So let's get this to be 1,000 of those and 2,000 of those. So hopefully that will continue to get more of these guys filtered into the system. And let's also get another 2 rows of storage chests. Those will get built in eventually, just so that we don't ever run out of storage space. Alright, so Spidertron is emptying. And I think we can also bring you down to like 500 of those and like 100 of those. Just keep smaller stocks of those things in your inventory. Alright, so Spidertron still getting cleared out, but it's almost there. Let's get all that junk out of the way. And we're almost there. What's that? Not enough empty Roboport slots available, apparently. I've never seen that warning before, but seems to have mostly disappeared by this point. So that's fun. All this stuff is getting built. We do still occasionally lose drones, but not that many. That's down this way. Where apparently some of these guys didn't get placed in. So let's just have the Spidertron run down and get those 2 in real quick, and then run back up to continue its emptying work. So that is that. And there's a whole bunch of drones just doing all sorts of stuff. Alright, somehow we've lost more in that area now. And a couple over here in the world's tiniest gap. Let's get that covered. And then there's apparently another gap down here. We might as well get all those gaps covered, just to prevent us losing our very, very valuable drones here. Alright, so the Spidertron, its space is mostly cleared out. There's just a couple stacks of things left for it. And it's not clear whether those things are getting carried away from it or not. But they should be, right? So the logistics Roboport is now much more available. And now let's bring the Spidertron back over to here to hopefully get more of this stuff done. There's a whole lot of deconstruction to be doing over here because there's a 10 trillion different individual pieces which all need to be dismantled and rebuilt, including all these steel chests filled with various quality items which are taking a ton of work. But yeah, it does look though like the number of drones we lost during that night was really, really low, considering like they're absolutely 100% of them were like actively working, and we only lost like a couple. So that's pretty good. That's pretty cool. All right, Spidertron is now on the case, and there we go. He is just filling up with all the items from that chest. Can we just get like a row of storage chests over that way? Just so that hopefully we don't have to take all these insanely long trips anymore. That would be cool. So let's go through here. So we need to set green circuits to 0. And we need to set... let's see here. Can I just set, like, any quality... Okay, no, I can't set any quality of green circuits to 0. So let's set rare quality green circuits to 0. There's so much stuff being done. It would be nice if we could get these storage chests to work out. They are not getting built super fast. They're not getting built super fast at all. And the Spidertron's inventory is clogged again, obviously. See, I also need to set, like, every different quality of these things to 0. And uncommons as well. Just to get all these 20 trillion different types of green circuits out of the inventory. And I think if we give these guys logistics filters, then they should start being like the primary choice for all the various qualities. So we get this one to be rares, and hopefully that will just limit the amount of distance that they have to travel. So we have regulars, commons, rares, epics. And hopefully that will be good enough to get that accelerated a little bit. But they're definitely going crazy here. Cannot get all this stuff out of our Spidertron's inventory fast enough either. So that's going to require even more work. Is the Spidertron... Are you, like, low on power? No, you have plenty of power. Your drones just aren't draining yourself immediately. Okay, it's just going. It's going to take a very long time, I think. Although we are down to 850 drones missing. So we're making progress on that front at least. Oh, and apparently we've removed lightning protection for these guys, which we don't want. We don't want them to be destroyed. We just want them to be dismantled. So let's hopefully get some of those queued back up. Man, having legendary roboports and drones would certainly be helpful. Some of these guys are real busy. The Spidertron is slowly chipping away at the amount of space that it has. Let's run over to do some more dismantling. We have a couple stacks worth of space. So I guess it's gonna be that box now that we just have to pull everything out from. And having the Spidertron do this is definitely like 1,000 times faster than having the Roboport drones do it. Alright, Spidertron is almost there. It's almost completely filled up at this point. And there we go. Alright, and now you can just run over here to hopefully get all that stuff placed into these storage chests. And I think I want a logistics filter for processing units there as well. So that can help, and you can get a logistics filter for red circuits. Just, again... Alright, we're down to only 5 entities missing construction bots. which means we're like almost there, right? So it turns out placing these storage chests in was a very, very good decision. Although it's still a huge amount of work, but we should be getting there now. So still 0 available logistics or construction bots. That's completely unsurprising. And the Spidertron is draining things out into these chests. And that's all going well. And these poor Roboports just doing absolutely everything they can to charge up some drones. The Roboport power is actually sometimes our largest consumer of power, which is kind of funny. Okay, how is the Spidertron going? Have you mostly... You have some space, but not much. Okay, we're somehow back to 90 entities missing construction bots. Not sure how that happened. But we are getting there. Let's have the Spidertron run back out over this way and continue to drain these boxes. There we go. Just every little bit that the Spidertron can speed up, the better. This is going to take 1,000 years otherwise. Alright, Spidertron is now filled. Can run back that way. There's still nothing available. Construction bots are going like crazy. Yeah, having gigantic full boxes of items definitely makes deconstruction a lot harder. That's definitely like a major source of the problems here. Although we've got to be getting there at this point, right? We've got to be. I don't know what these guys are going all the way out here for. Just for a recharge? That's crazy. So this box down here that they've been working on for a while is almost done. Let's get... If we can just place like a couple Roboports in there so that the charging can be done quicker, that would be pretty neat. Alright, Spidertron's out to do more work. And we are getting there bit by bit. Okay, let's get... So one of these Roboports is in, so that should accelerate the charging in this area. And then the Spidertron is still successfully doing stuff. Let's have it run back up to the storage chests to continue along with that. We've got 2 Roboports here, which should get that power charging going a lot faster. Well, it's still probably not going to be extremely fast. Alright, now we're losing a whole bunch of drones down in this area. So let's cover up as much of that area as we can. Just something like that. Alright. Are those all happening down in that area? Yeah, they are. Which should be covered once these new things get built in. Should stop being an issue. Spidertron, meanwhile, still doing its thing. Let's get some more of these red circuit types in here as filtered out. So those are the uncommons out. And the rares. And the epics. There we go, something like that. Gives us a little bit more space. And we currently have 70 spare logistics spots, which is a whole lot better than it could be. Alright, Spidertron, back out to do your thing. Just get these guys drained faster. Okay, Spidertron is actually... Okay, yeah, your personal Roboport has completely drained, so you can't actually help much at this point. So we're just gonna have to wait and let the drones do their thing. There's a whole lot of stuff to get cleared out, and then immediately after this we're gonna have to get all the drones up and running again to actually build the new setup in here, which is gonna be also a lot of work, but probably a lot less because it's a lot more part efficient, I think. Okay, there's another box down, and still tons of boxes left to go. So one of the upsides of this new setup is that we're not gonna have all of those buffer chests. Like, well, we're gonna have buffer chests, but they're not gonna have hardly anything in them, so it should be fine. Should be a whole lot more manageable. Okay, let's just keep placing in additional Roboports for charging capacity reasons. So hopefully we can get that in. And the drones are doing drone things. The Spidertron, are you recharging? You are a little bit, but you still don't have much power, so not sure how much good you're going to do. Our uncommon green circuit supply is absolutely chock full, as are rares and epics. So that is a little bit concerning. We're gonna need another one. Yeah, we might need more of these guys. And I assume that one is just full. So let's get a couple more storage chests in here, which apparently we don't have. Somehow, I could have sworn we'd crafted those here. Maybe that was just some other type of chest. I could have sworn we'd done like buffer chests or something. Are we requesting those? No, let's get that request in for maybe 50 storage chests at a time. And then Fulgora support will also be requesting like 50 of those at a time. Okay, so that's all good. And we're also getting our legendary beacons delivered over as well, so that's good. We're going to be waiting on that as well, so now we shouldn't spend nearly as much time waiting on that. Though we are going to need a lot of them. Okay, Spidertron should be all ready to go. So you can run over here and do some more work. Off you go. And let's get some of this stuff done. So just clear out some of these boxes so that we don't have to have these drones go through all the effort, although we have a whole bunch of extra charging nice and close, so that should help out a lot. Yeah, it's crazy just how much stuff accumulated in these boxes and how quickly it managed to do it. It's just absolutely enormous amounts of circuits. We're definitely going to want to add these back in somehow so that they're not all just wasted. I don't know how we're going to do that. I have to add them back into the recycling setup, I or something. Alright, Spidertron is full up again. You can go back to stand by the boxes. And we've got to be closing in on done dismantling all this stuff, right? If we check, still no drones of any kind available. So we're still just waiting. Yeah, this is the problem with having giant construction projects that it turns out you don't actually need. So dismantling them is not easy. Also, apparently I did end up missing this, which was the sulfuric acid machine. So let's just get you built back in. There we go. Oh, that wasn't that. You just get fed in via inserter. And so then that produces our sulfuric acid, and hopefully enough sulfuric acid to feed this whole giant setup. We might need to expand this out more, because we're going to be adding a whole bunch of stuff onto this. Alright, how is this going? We've got to be almost there, right? We've just got this last row of boxes. Just got that last row of boxes. But we've run out of storage capacity immediately here, so now they have to go all the way back again. Which really is not ideal. Really not ideal at all. We do have these empty ones, which they could use if they wanted to. The ones that don't have filters. But they apparently don't want to. Oh well. We're almost there. Almost there. We actually don't have that much stuff charging in this area anymore. Possibly because of how these storage chests are filled up and now they have to go all the way over here again. Hopefully not. Okay, so Fulgora support is... Oh, it's not getting its EM science packs, probably because all the drones are doing other things. So we're just going to have you go manually while we wait for this, because you need to get more stockpiles. And then, yeah, all this stuff is getting sent back this way into this chest and like that one, which is a very, very long journey. And Spidertron can help a little bit. So Spidertron has space. Let's head over there. And there we go. It's funny just seeing these massive lines of drones go out and back. Alright, almost there. Okay, that's another box done. And then the Spidertron is back to being charging up. Okay, then you will have to run all the way back here to unload if these storage chests aren't capable of managing it. And this is... Alright, this chest is very full. This chest is mostly empty, and those are the only two left. So we are just about done. We are just about done with all this. My poor drone network. They've been working so hard. They're almost clear. So if we can just get the Spidertron to unload super fast and then reload. To transport platform, you don't happen to have Okay, you have modules, you have EM plants, but you don't have stuff. You do have a bunch of drones, though, so we can bring you up so that you can do that for us. We clearly need more. Oh, we actually have 100 spare construction drones now, apparently. So that's extremely encouraging. So the Spidertron is going to get back here. We still have a decent amount of space in these storage chests. And there we go. Spidertron is now unloading super fast. So just like that, we should be all good any second now. And it still does take a while, even with this. Not the world's fastest process. Also, it looks like the EM science packs have actually genuinely broken. So you don't have any of these. And what's going on? Not anything super interesting. So you are missing green circuits. And the reason the green circuits are missing is because... Where are the green circuits even supposed to come from for this? They're not just being request or chested in. Although they can be. Yeah, let's just pop those in. We've got so many green circuits. Alright, so let's see. It's this guy. So these red circuit recyclers don't have any ingredients. Because there's nothing back here. Oh, because this holmium has jammed, actually, maybe? No, wait. What is it? Oh, it's because these blue circuits here have jammed. Okay, so that's not surprising. Although I thought we had covered for that. I thought we'd covered for that in this area, but we haven't, which is fine. We're just gonna leave it because we're mostly rebuilding everything anyways. The Spidertron is almost entirely cleared out. The construction drones are mostly done. Alright, yeah, this whole area is nice and clear. Alright, so now, I assume the Spidertron is just still charging. Yes, its energy stockpiles are still a bit inconsistent. We still have even, like, entirely filled storage chests, so that's not a concern. And that's going. Fulgora support is on its way back. Transport platform is almost here. Alright, yeah, let's see. Do we still have this in our clipboard? Yes, we do. So let's get you pasted up. And that is going to require a whole bunch of drones. And we're also going to need a massive amount of turbo transport belts. And really just a bunch of absolutely everything. Oh, and these are the wrong type of beacon, actually. So these are supposed to be legendary beacons, which we definitely have. So let's get those filtered across. And does that make it any better? Not really. Alright, so we can get the Spidertron over into that area. And we need to reconnect the power grid again. Because of course we do. And the drone network as well. So let's get all that stuff in. And then then we'll see. Theoretically, all these warnings should disappear when, or at least most of them, when this drone port and these power lines get connected in. That's the hope, at least. So we're just going to have to see what happens, and the Spidertron showing up should help a little bit as well. Alright, so Spidertron is in. And let's get another drone port out to somewhere else where it's needed. And then Spidertron. Not entirely sure what you have on you that you can use for this. But a lot of this stuff over here is apparently doable. Although that might have just been... Yeah, no, that was just this stuff getting connected in. Alright, so now we have the actual missing spots. We need recyclers, quality modules, and 7 more steel chests. So Fulgora support should be bringing... Okay, well, you have legendary recyclers on you, but you're supposed to be bringing those the other way around. So you can drop those. And transport platform is here, so you can send down some modules. And that should help. We still need 35 legendary recyclers and 7 steel chests. So for the legendary recyclers, those are crafted here, right? You are missing legendary blue circuits, which I believe Fulgora support is transporting. So you can drop those down. And that is going. Alright, then are you requesting? You're requesting 100 of those at a time. We have 76 on their way. How many recyclers does 76 blue circuits give us? Like 20 some? Okay, so we are going to need... We're going to need to craft up some legendary blue circuits, which we should be able to do. So if we get you in like that, that doesn't... Hopefully that doesn't cause too many problems. So if you just do something like that... Transport platform, send down... Yeah, it's sent down all the modules it has. So you can go back. Fulgora support... Okay, I think we want you to just drop off some of those recyclers for local use. And then this will be making legendary blue circuits. Oh, but we need sulfuric acid, so this isn't actually a good spot for it. Okay, that's fine then. So those recyclers should be coming down any second now, and then they should get queued up onto all that stuff. Now all this stuff is being built. Still missing 29 legendary recyclers. Alright, so then these guys are still making legendary green circuits. Okay, can we just yoink off of this sulfuric acid here to make legendary blue circuits? And then this is going to be requesting legendary greens, legendary reds, and you are going to need some sort of productivity module. We'll give you base level productivity modules for now, because we unfortunately don't have the correct number. And that should hopefully be decent. No, we have no legendary reds here. But we can drop down 100 of those. And that should give us 150 legendary blue circuits, which should be quite handy. Alright, so that is going. Did you, like, get those legendary recyclers launched back up? Yeah, no, we need you to... Where's that request, actually? We need to, like, temporarily remove that so that those can just be used here. So those get dropped down. And I don't know what we just launched. But that should be... Yeah, there goes another 12 of those. Transport platform is headed back, so we're still missing 50-some legendary quality modules. Alright, so those are all done. Now you can get your legendary recycler request back, because it's not going to be interrupting things anymore. And all of this is still running. We've got this guy making our legendary blues. And can we upgrade you at all? Yes, we can get you up to epics, at least mostly epics, without problems. So that will be marginally beneficial. And hopefully that'll get us the rest of these guys in. It says we have 28 processing units and logistics storage, but that they're not going here. On the way 0. Are all of our roboports doing other things? No? Doesn't seem like it. I have no idea why that's not working then. But it'll be fine. Oh, I forgot to put power into this when I made it. Alright, substation time. So we just get a couple substations there. And a couple substations here. Such as something like that, and that, and that. So that should get those all powered, and then if we just copy paste you, just to get the spacing correct. I don't want to copy paste the belts, I literally just want the substations. So those go in, and those go in. So that is theoretically all powered up. If this were connected to the grid, which it is now. Alright, so that's all those guys powered up. Now we need to get these ones. So you need a... how is this going to work? So you are probably just going to be easiest with medium poles just along this way. So just run these along everywhere that they need to go. And there we go. So that should be everything. Except for the legendary recyclers, and we're missing some modules still. We're missing a lot of modules still. Oh, and we need that to get connected up to the grid, obviously. As well as those guys can get connected up to the grid. And then there's like a couple just scattered remnants of the factory that we just dismantled. So let's get all of that done. And so now this whole thing is working properly. So we have all this. And that should be good, right? So aside from the quality modules, which are all missing, and unfortunately they're missing in this group. But aside from that, we're pretty much set. So transport platforms back on Novice. And it's getting more modules sent up. Seems very sparse in there. Don't know what that's about. But it's getting its modules, and then these guys are still waiting on the red circuits as expected. And the same is true of these guys up here. So that is that. So there's not a huge amount we can do with that. Might have wanted to not dismantle the old setup until we had more of these guys delivered, but I thought we had more to spare than we did, apparently. Okay, let's see. Theoretically, this should work, right? If we just take this, belt it down and into there, then not all of these guys will be quality moduled, and not all of these guys will be productivity moduled, but it should theoretically work, right? It should at least get started. Now we're waiting on the underground belts, and that is it. So yeah, we're just waiting on the underground belts. Transport platform is at 4 productivity modules, 42 quality modules. Yeah, you can start traveling over again. That's fine. Fulgora support is back. It's got all sorts of stuff. Like you can... we need the blue circuits and red circuits on both sides of this. Like, we need them on Fulgora to make the legendary recyclers, and we need them back on Novice to make the modules. So that's a bit complicated. Just a little bit complicated. So this is all doing its thing. And this seems to have gotten jammed somehow. At least not jammed, but like not working fast enough. So I don't know what's up with that. But that's fine. That's what the old factory does. Okay, so this has completely filled with tier 1 green circuits. And why? Okay, so the green circuits have gotten on both sides of the belt. Why is that? Coming in here. Oh, I see. It's because of... Yeah, it's because of that. Alright, so we're going to need that guy to move. And we are going to need to adjust this. So first of all that stuff's going to have to go away. Second of all, this belt here is going to... It's going to need to go up. We need to swap it around, right? So that it's outputting onto the other side. So would that be something like this? No, we don't have enough space for that. So you need to go up and then over. And then you can go down and across like that. Okay, so we have that. Now, we have a splitter, which is going to filter out advanced circuits of any quality onto the left. And then go like that. So that should work now. So now all the green circuits should be on the right. Oh god, no, I've dismantled my Spidertron. Undo... No, that's... We're gonna have to undo we're gonna have to do so many undos. Alright, undo construction of Spidertron complete. We've done it. Alright, so... That's annoying. Spidertron, can you just go stand over there for a second? So, we need to redo this. So you go around and up like that. And you are filter any red circuits to the left side. And they go in like there. And then that all connects up. And all that gets upgraded to be turbo belts. And then we just need to clear the rest of these green circuits out, and we also need to get that substation back in. And we did the same thing up here, didn't we? But we forgot to actually do the correct splitting. So we're gonna have to disconnect you. So you get disconnected, and then you output to the far side. So we're doing the same thing here, where we need one of them to go over to the other side. And let's just have it be this one. So you need to connect down like that. And then this goes forwards. You filter out advanced circuits of any quality onto that side. And then they go in there. And then the green circuits, let's just do this. Wait, no, we can't. We want this to be inputting onto this turbo splitter so that they have priority. So we need to just hope that this is correct. Let's see. So this outputs to the... Yeah, so that should be correct. And this is all set up. So now if we run a lengthy belt around here, just to get all of those guys out of that, then these guys get their red circuits. And okay, so now we can dismantle this lengthy belt, because that is not needed. Okay, so that's been filtered correctly. However, we also have the problem that these guys aren't actually doing that correctly. Alright, we need these guys to get the sulfuric acid, so we just need to bring this pipe. That doesn't connect across properly at all, so I guess just something like that ought to work. That'll get our sulfuric acid into this system, and that's the only thing that these guys are waiting on. So that should be good. And then we're going to need to have enough EM plants in each of these rows to take all the green circuits out. And I don't know if 4 is enough or if we're going to need more than that. Alright, so these pipes are now getting built, so it shouldn't be too long before they all get placed. And then we'll get to see, hopefully, this whole thing start working. Hopefully. It's a bit optimistic. Let's send down some more modules. So those are down. And then we can Those will show up eventually. So this has run a couple of times. But so now the problem is that these are too willing to output green circuits, and they're not getting the red circuits out, which is causing the whole thing to jam when there aren't any red circuits on this portion of the belt. So we need to do something about that. How do we fix that? We've got... These guys are all just sort of churning along for no real value. Did transport platform drop everything off? It did, so you can head back. So we have this set up. The problem is it puts them all out onto the one belt. And... okay, I also think that with how many items we need to go in here, I actually think we want these to be like 3 stack inserters each. Potentially more. Just something like that. Just so that they can fill up with, 25 green circuits a second plus. Alright, so this is obviously not working. Now, if we just make this belt longer, like if we just add more EM plants on, then that might help. But I don't know. Not entirely sure. Also, the sulfuric acid shortage. That is just water shortages again. Although no, that's output full actually, so it's... this guy isn't fast enough for you, that's fine. The sulfuric acid supply is what it is, basically. I guess we can fit another speed beacon in. So let's get that in, just to help out on the sulfuric acid supply a little bit. That shouldn't be a concern. So is there some way of having these just straight up output the red circuits to another belt? I think not, right? I think that just is what it is, and it has to be sorted out at this point. Or not at all. So, let's just go with the idea that we can just expand this row out a bunch. And that all gets built up. We get that pipe connected. And we will see what happens. Now we're going to be even more productivity modules short, which is a bummer. Do you hold EM plants? No, you don't. But let's probably change that. So you can just hold 20 of those at a time, just for the convenience of building things like this. And apparently the legendary beacons are available. Alright, and the legendary recyclers are showing up with time. Transport platform is almost halfway back to Novice. There's not much going on there. This is all getting built up. So that all the machines are in. Now we just have to wait for the modules, which probably aren't going to show up. So let's connect the belts across and see. So we get red circuits through, and those red circuits going through uses up green circuits, which hopefully keeps that loop going. And then there's just a random power pole in there, which we're going to need to fix. But then it all gets jammed. And then it all gets jammed. So yeah, that's still not working. We've managed to get a teeny bit. We've managed to get a tiny bit going, but not enough. So, how do we solve that? We need to keep the red circuits flowing in a stable way, whether or not the green circuits are stuck. I don't know how to do that. I do not know how to do that. So what we need is some sort of... Oh, wait, I think I have an idea, maybe? If we have... No, that wouldn't work, sorry. I was thinking if we have, like, a loop back here that just loops the green circuits back, but not the red circuits, then it would be fine. Maybe if we have, like, this entire thing loop back, but that seems incredibly complicated. The problem is, like, we have a finite amount of space in here. We need to fit the red circuits into it as well as the green circuits. And I still don't fully comprehend how to do that. If it were just running continually, it wouldn't be a problem, right? I think the problem is sort of self-creating because it's stuck like this. So let's start by cutting that off so that we have no fresh supply of blue circuits in. And then we will take this belt and just, like, feed you into a chest. Maybe just having a chest in? No, because that would massively throttle... It would massively slow down the throughput to have it all rely on one single stack inserter. But so what we're doing now is we're just trying to clear out this area so that it's not overfilled. Because this belt shouldn't be overfilled. It should be capable of working at a regular speed. So we're going to drain this entire section out. And now these guys are picking up red circuits in some of these stack inserters. And they're just creeping along. What we need is some way of telling that, like, there are green circuits here. We need some sort of stable setup for it. Novice is getting hit, apparently, pretty hard. Lost a whole bunch of drones down at this area. Okay, so you have an artillery turret over there, but nothing, like, in front of you. So let's copy you, and this is going to be complicated, actually. Okay, we can actually just copy that whole row of things, and then place it like that, and then that should work, probably. I don't know. Doesn't really matter too much if it doesn't. Okay, so now we've managed to get this entirely stuck onto the uncommon side of things. So we don't have enough uncommon red circuits. So let's first need to dismantle some of those, and then we're going to copy this. So we got another whole giant chunk of them. So those can all go in. And now that moves along. And alright, so this is working a little bit. The uncommon side of things hopefully also does stuff. So hopefully uncommon red circuits will show up to fill those guys in a minute. Really making backwards progress on our supply of productivity modules though, which is not great. Alright, so this now is continuing to fill up with all these random green circuits, and this is stuck again, so we need to get that same setup over there to keep these ones drained properly. And theoretically this shouldn't be a problem. Like, all of this problem is just being caused by the fact that the red circuit supply is inconsistent. So how do we control for that to make sure that, like, a correct proportion of the output of these is red circuits? Again, theoretically, once this is all functional and running at full speed, it shouldn't matter. Like, these machines should use everything that these produce. Now let's see, these are 8 green circuits per machine, per recycler. And I know we have 40 of them, so 8 times 40 is 320. So we need to be able to deal with 320 regular quality green circuits. Oh, and that being a bulk inserter has apparently got us stuck now. So we need to be able to deal with 320 regular quality green circuits, although it'll be slightly less than that, but this is 25 each plus some. That's 50, 100, 150. So this is like 200 here, which isn't enough. So we need even more. And so 4 of these are 200, although slightly better than that, but we're going to need another 4 of these guys down here, and we're going to need to do something with all these, which for now at least we can probably just destroy, but I don't know. So we need this whole thing to be drained because, like, the fact that it's overfilled means that it's causing problems. Pretty sure that's the issue. And so these produce, to confirm this again, 8 times 40 is 320 total green circuits, and 75% of those will be common quality. So we need to be able to deal with 300-ish in here, and that should be fine. And we might need longer belts on all of these just for buffering purposes, because the number of green circuits involved is so high. So because like it's very easy on these shorter belts for this to happen, not even because we're short on red circuits or anything, just because the belt itself is not very long. And yeah, so now that's all gotten jammed because of these guys. So that is a problem which we need to solve. And I think we have to solve it via some sort of buffer chest system. But I don't know how to do that without slowing down throughput. I guess we could have the chest... We could have the chest, like, output... And we could have the chest, like, go out onto a different belt, which then merges back in, while the main belt can just flow through uninterrupted if necessary. I suppose that's an option. We could also... Oh, we could have these loop. Like, if this chest is getting full, then it drains back up to this splitter. Although that's difficult with how compact we've built this, and if we build it less compact, we won't have room to use the same rows of beacons for multiple things. So I don't know about that either. I don't know. This whole thing is very complicated. So currently with these buffer chests, it is working, but they're definitely filling up the buffer a lot. And that is certainly complicated. But we are making legendary EM plant stuff, which is cool. So this is all going. The green circuits are currently stuck because of that, so let's fix that. And we just want this whole thing to drain out, and then we add in more rows of each of these and then see if that improves it. Alright, so now this one is filled. So can we just add another buffer like that? Just to keep things moving a little bit. There's the steel chest, there's the inserter. And we're probably going to need a whole lot more than this. Okay, so let's also take those out, and then you are going to be filtered to be green circuits only. Just because we don't want to filter out the red circuits, because those are the things which we normally don't have enough of. So yeah, the problem is like these massive waves, right, where we have a huge amount of red circuits output all at once. And I think that's just a consequence of this being oversaturated, which does mean we can never allow it to oversaturate or it'll break, but that should be possible. So now those machines are running and taking out the red circuits. And there we go. That should keep that happy for a while. And more massive waves of red circuits. And the green circuits are coming in as well. So it's kind of working if we don't consider these guys. But like that massive wave of red circuits, because we did this filter, is no longer breaking things. And I think we do the same thing here, so you get to be that filtered. So yeah, plan A is to just hope that this works without having to do anything fancy, and then plan B is to figure out something fancy to do. Hopefully we don't need to do a plan B. So this one at this point is kind of working. Not quite 100%, but like it's not super common that the green circuits make it all the way down. This one over here is having more trouble. But hopefully that it's also mostly working. And then these ones are having the most trouble of all, relative to how many items are going through them. And that is all doing its thing. Okay, and that's just still going. Transport platform is above here. We can send down 4 of those and 21 of those, which is kind of a nothing delivery, but every little bit, right? Every little bit counts. So Fulgora support. Yeah, the EM plants are not working anymore. Or the EM science doesn't seem to be working properly. So you are now missing accumulators because you aren't getting any batteries. Where are the batteries for you? I guess we just import the batteries. Through the power of the drone network, many things can be fixed. Batteries, batteries, batteries. Where are you? There you are. So that should get that working again. And hopefully that's the last problem like that. Hopefully. So that should start working at like almost exactly 1-to-1. And then if we go back to here, is this whole scrap line broken? Yeah, so this is still broken because of that blue circuit oversupply. And that is not easy to deal with. So we just need to get rid of the excess blue circuit somehow, and it's probably technically going, right? Although it might be taking the blue circuits from storage or something. Okay, so back over to here, and now the epics have overfilled. So let's get you in, and you are going to be filtered to epic green circuits, and you are going to be filtered to rare green circuits. Okay, so now that stack inserter gets placed, and it should be all good. This should start working again. Alright. And that's the last row. So hopefully there are no problems with that. Are you not getting... I see, we didn't get that pipe connected across for you. That's important, to get these lower ones running. And now this is all going again. And we just need to get this to work. Just need to get this to work out. And it's kind of incredible how long this has been running. Like, just based off of the excess stockpiles, we're only like 1.5 of these through. It's very, very high productivity, apparently. But it'll get there eventually. So these ones are definitely running. And at this point, yeah, we can actually see the amount of stuff that's coming from the recycled machines is so much higher than the amount of fresh input that's going in. Which is definitely causing slowdowns. So, I guess, can we accelerate this even more? That might break things. This wasn't designed to go faster than one full belt here. So if I remember correctly, this was 1 stack every 2 seconds per machine. And that means that this entire row of 40 is 1 stack every 2 seconds times 40 is a stack every second times is 20 stacks a second, which is like 2/3 of half of the belt, if that makes sense. And then that whole recycling thing happens. So yeah, I don't know what I was saying. What math I'm trying to do is like, so this is like 2/3 of the belt lane, right? And then that gets transformed back up to here, where we lose another giant chunk of it. What's the ratios here? This is 1.6 to 8, which is 1 in. So it's like 4.5 inputs for every one. It's like 4.5 outputs for every input. Whereas this is like 5 or 6 inputs for every output. I don't know. The math is just so hard to do. Math is really difficult to do. I mean, the good news is that it's currently working, and we haven't seen much in the way of actually discarding extra stuff in a while. And really, we just need like a big wave of epic red circuits for this one to start working properly. So it looks like that's the trick, right? You have to have like an oversupply of red circuits so that you can always use all the green circuits as soon as they show up. And then that is good enough. But yeah, it's very hard to say, like, most of the stuff going through here is recycled from up here. But there is still a meaningful amount coming fresh from down here. Like there's another giant wave of red circuits, for example. And again, the fact that we've managed to like so heavily saturate these belts is definitely not ideal. That's for sure. Now, okay, let's just experiment with this. So if you get connected across so that this is an effective 2 lanes, what happens then? And you, I think, also need to be input priority left just to make sure that that doesn't break anything. So now we have almost a full belt lane of this going through. We've definitely managed to increase the throughput by a little bit by doing that. So now it's like 1.5 belts, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say for certain exactly. But we've definitely... It seems we've increased the throughput, and I don't think it's caused any massive problems as things stand currently. Okay, so let's now... We need to get rid of all this excess green circuits somehow. I actually don't even know if that's true. Like, it might be fine to loop it back into this system again. Not sure. Not sure either way. But we have managed to make a big supply of legendary green circuits up there. Like, all of the problem with this entire factory is just because the quantity of green circuits is 10 times that of red circuits. So I wonder actually if there's something we can do to like get the ratios correct. I don't know. It's so complicated is the problem. Like, there's so many different types of things that can come out that it's very hard to say how to get the ratios correct. Like, now we're back to being short on red circuits again. And that all goes through, and we haven't gotten just like regular red circuit burst in a while, I guess. These top rows. Oh, this is so complicated. I'm just like sitting here trying to think of how to solve this. And I do not know the answer to that question. So I think draining it is the, like, plan A. So I wonder if we can just drain this faster somehow. Like, we're already draining it at a rate of like 1-ish belt per second. If we just add like another splitter onto there, I wonder if we can get even more out. I wonder if we can get even more out of this thing. I don't know, it's complicated. And this green circuit supply here is backlogging, so we need to get... Let's get these in. And then you are all filtered. So you are going to be the legendary green circuits. You are going to be the legendary blue circuits. And you are going to be the legendary red circuits. I don't think this can actually make legendary blue circuits, but we might as well have that box in case that changes. So we're still draining this. It takes forever. It takes just absolutely ages to drain that out, to the point where I wonder if we've done the math wrong and it's just going to instantly refill again once we get it. Like, once we get it drained and we restart it, isn't it just going to instantly fill again? Is that a concern? So because this is like 20 stacks a second, which is most of a full belt of output. But then the amount that's looping back, yeah, I think we actually need even more stuff here. So I wonder if... Yeah, the sheer throughput that this all needs to handle is becoming a concern, because we need to be able to deal with 20 stacks a second out of this, which means having a giant row like this. But then... of that, so that's 320 green circuits per second, right? That's what we're dealing with. So that 320 divided by... Can I just get arithmetic combinators down here so that I can do some math? Literally just for the purpose of doing math. So if we get 320, that's how many green circuits we have. And the ratio at full productivity is, what, 25.4 to 4.65? Okay, let's start with that. So 25.4, so these can't do decimals, which is annoying. Oh wait, no, these ones in here are the more full ones. So it's 29.2 to 5.34. So that's 2920 divided by 534. And then output that to just a signal somewhere. Okay, so it's apparently very close to 5. Now let's... If we add more zeros onto here, then we get more digits of precision, right? So it's like 5.46 to 1, maybe? Yeah, let's go with 5.46 to 1. And if we just keep adding zeros, that doesn't really help us any. So it's 5.46 to 1 is the ratio. So then if we have 320 green circuits divided by 5.46. Oh, we have to add some zeros to that for it to work. So that's like 58 blue circuits. Right, or 586 blue circuits or something thereabouts. So yeah, so it should be 58 blue circuits per second, 58.6 or something like that, but I don't know if that's going to be accurate. So 58.6 blue circuits per second out is going to be... Wait, that's just like almost exactly as... Oh no, this... Right. Because of all the productivity bonuses, this converts them up at like basically 1-to-1. Okay, so that means that this input can't be anywhere near this big for any like practical outcome. So yeah, I mean the total input we need is very, very low apparently. If we just put in like 50 green circuits, like one or two of, just a couple of these would be enough. So if we insist on doing it this way with this massive row of inputs, how do we solve that? So the problem is that this row of outputs is going to be like almost as much... There's almost as much stuff on these belts as there is on these belts, and that's what we've been seeing this entire time. That just a very low amount of inputs can last for a very long time. Okay, so we could just like do a setup like this. I mean, this has been running stably for a while, right? We haven't been wasting that many circuits. So we could just do a setup where like this turns off and on every so often. But okay, I actually have an idea, maybe. I might have an idea. It's a bit complicated, so, and I haven't thought it all the way through, so we're gonna have to work on this. So we have our belt of input, right? Then we split it into red circuits on one side and green circuits on the other, and this would obviously be an equality of red circuits. So we have this and we have this. Right, then we need to like set it up in a ratio so that it outputs 10 of these stacks for every one of those stacks, and then it has a buffer chest to make that happen. I don't know if that's possible, actually. Is that at all practical? So we would need a clock. We would need it to sync up perfectly with the inputs. No, that seems insanely hard. That seems like technically possible, but it would be like the most difficult circuit thing that I've ever done. I don't want to do the most difficult circuit thing that I've ever done right now. So we'll leave that for a bit. And instead, we got all this. And I do see occasionally on the uncommons stuff is going through. Okay, so what if we care less about efficiency and more about just getting stuff out? So if this first row of machines, if this is just... If we make this quality modules instead of productivity modules, it'll dramatically cut down the amount of output that we have. So, okay, let's try that. So if we go... It'll also incidentally save us from these insane quality module demands. So if we go something like this, and apparently the pasting doesn't work for that. That's fine. So this first row, we have just quality modules in here. And not productivity modules. So the idea here is that this will... It won't produce nearly as much junk output, basically. So the amount of output that this produces will be almost exclusively... It'll be much higher proportion of high-quality stuff. Okay, transport platform is above novice. We've got 20 quality modules coming in. It's just not going anywhere anytime soon. And did this... Oh, I see. This, it got built, but not powered up. So let's get that started. Right, so we have that. And we need way more quality modules to get output. And so that is landing. Alright, so that's sort of just another chunk. So if we do it like this, without all those productivity bonuses, these will be a lot less efficient, but they'll output a lot more higher quality items here, so it's still like worthwhile. And we do that for the regular qualities. I don't think we want to do it for the uncommons. So what if we just... Instead of... Okay, here's another idea. So instead of filtering these... Instead of all the common ones going straight out of here and up into this second row, we actually filter the common ones out and send them back into here. So we get you, filter, common, left. And then this runs back this way and into this. So actually, let's see. We want this to be input like all the way down here, probably. So you go in like that. And then you just get merged up with priority. So now all of the blue circuits out that get output here that are not special ones. Let's get all those belts upgraded as well. So now those will all loop back around this way. And just use these recyclers down here instead of all those ones up there. Aquilo support somehow ran out of ammunition. How did that happen? I don't see where, and you are currently fine. Oh, is it here? Oh, it's power. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. You don't have any power. Oh, I see what happened. That's bad. That's very bad, actually. Okay, you need to get back to novice. So you were just passive, not moving, so you never got the refuel interrupt. Well, we'll see if the ammo you currently have on the belts is enough to make it back to novice safely. If it isn't, then we're just kind of screwed. Is there anything we can do? Do you have solar panels? No, they're all placed. Okay, well, that's concerning. So hopefully you make it. And... oh, you're actually not going to be able to make it, are you? Because the fuel production is also a problem. So you're going to run out of thruster fuel. Do you have, like... do you have... no, you don't have anything useful. Alright, this space platform might just be doomed. Like... I guess I guess we can like bring it. We can bring fuel to it via some other means. But that's a serious problem. And yeah. Okay, you need to go back to Aquilo, and we need someone, I don't know who, to just deliver some extra fuel to you. So how about Aquilo Quantum Support? So you are going to want to request... Where is this? Okay, you request 200 fuel rods instead of just 100. And then we're going to trigger your refuel immediately. And then we're going to have to drop that off at Aquilo. So you are going to request just like 50. So you request like 50 fuel rods there. And then Aquilo Support, which is already losing things. That's very bad. I don't know if this is going to show up fast enough for you. There's nothing we can do usefully with the depleted fuel cells. Okay, so that is that. Okay, wait, actually, no, that's fine for them all to search for 200. Yeah, I don't know if that'll be fast enough. We'll have to find out. Okay, so back here, this recycling up here is now exclusively recycling higher tier items, whereas this one down here is getting all of the blue circuits, just regular blue circuits back. Transport platform is present. Drop off some of that stuff just to keep filling you up. And that is now going. So the problem here is that our first row of recycling, it just bit off way more than we can chew in terms of production here. Like, this whole system only works if this is able to continually output, but there's no way that this whole system is going to be able to continually output, so that's a problem. So what do we need in order to fix this? We need, like, I guess what we could do is, so now that we have it like this, we have this row here just send things to an entirely separate block of machines like this, which will only need to deal with the higher tier ones, not the regulars, because those have all been sorted out already. And so then that should work. And yeah, now Aquilo Support is in serious trouble, to say the least. So you are almost back to Aquilo. None of this stuff can be used to generate power on the fly. It's just the solar panels. And alright, so that we need you to request nuclear fuel from Aquilo, if possible. And then hopefully Aquilo has some. Okay, so Aquilo does have some nuclear fuel. So if we can get Aquilo Support there, then the fuel will show up, everything will be powered. All of the defenses, except for that one, are still technically intact. So if we can just get... Yeah, sending you off was a huge mistake. If we can just get nuclear fuel up here, it'll all work. But we don't have much time. We do not have much time until eventually we're going to run out of replacements for everything. So we've got a couple hundred belts, but we don't have any foundations. So if the foundations get cut, then the whole thing breaks. But we do have fuel getting launched. We have fuel getting launched, so if we could just hold out for literally just another couple seconds. And then we're also going to have to heat up the heat exchangers and everything. But we just need to hold on for a little while longer. The only thing we're missing is an asteroid collector. A couple asteroid collectors. We're missing one gun turret, but we have overlapping coverage for it. Okay, the fuel is here, and it's getting sent in. Okay. We got there, apparently. Power is back online. Power is back online, and ammunition is going out. So that should keep us safe. As long as it can fill all these guys up fast enough. This is very precarious. We have more fuel showing up already. Okay. So it's extremely precarious, but I think we should be safe now. We've got plenty of ammo going through. Should be filling all these guys up. The rockets never ran low because we don't use many of them. Alright. Crisis averted. Now let's get you back. Let's see. Let's actually give you a little bit of time to stock up on extra ammo, and then we're going to have to get you back to Novice for repairs. But yeah, we should be fine now, as long as we leave pretty promptly. Alright, so yeah, you can go back to Novice. We've got power, we've got ammo. We should be in the clear now. As long as this one gun turret isn't absolutely pivotal for everything. Which it very well might be. Okay, so now this is jammed up because of a lack of regular old green circuits. Because of course it is. Oh boy. So, we need to unfilter that. Just get that going through. And then we refilter you. Just hopefully is fine. It's definitely not fine. Okay, we're gonna need to redesign this whole thing to work better. So, we have this set up here, which can take the outputs from our first input row, right? And somehow we haven't gotten a single legendary red circuit out of this. Literally zero. They must be building up in these machines here. Yeah, we've got like 15 there. So the legendary red circuits are building up. They'll come out eventually. But we need to redesign this so that we have more ability to use the outputs that it gives. So we're gonna need so many belts worth to do this. I wonder if... No, trains have nowhere near the throughput of turbo belts with max stacks, so that's not a good choice. I was thinking about using trains to make things easier, but that would make things much harder. So what we need is... we need more belt lanes going into these. And we also need way more production of these, so this can take 16 times 30 green circuits at max. Okay, we're gonna have to go back over to the... We're gonna have to go back to the drawing board, which is this island over here, apparently, to just do some redesigns in a system which isn't actively working. Okay, so we've got all this, and I guess we can just feed these into belts, which can then go forwards into this whole setup that we have up here. So red circuits is this one, and you go into there. Green circuits is this one, and you go into there, apparently. And then yeah, okay, blue circuits should never be a major problem from this. Transport platform still doing its thing. Fulgora support still not having luck with any of that stuff. So you go back to novice, deliver those red circuits. So why is our EM science packs not working now? Okay, they are. They are working, it's just, I guess it's just a bit behind. Alright, that's fine though. So you can do that. Now, we're over here, and we've got this, which is basically the setup that we have, but we're going to need to redesign it in order to make it work. So, we have this. What I think we need is we have... Right, so we had this whole setup with the red circuits to be split off differently. We just need to... If we can make it so that it just outputs onto two different belts, then that would also be just way easier. Right, so if we can just like... If we can just like stack inserter, any type of red circuit, and then a different inserter. Okay, no, that's not going to line up correctly just because of spacing problems. Okay, so there's no easy way of just getting them out onto two separate belts without a bit more work. So we could have, I guess, two buffer chests, one for green circuits and one for red circuits, and have them output that way. But that gets a bit... So we would have, like, U outputs there and there, basically. And it would just be something like this, and... No, it would need to be like this. And then these would need to be filtered for, you know, any red circuits, and filtered for any green circuits. And then those would then stack insert onto two different belts like that. Which one of them would have to go... Yeah, no, this is just not easy to build in a reasonable amount of space. So I think we're going to stick with this setup instead. We're going to stick with this setup, but we're going to change it around to fix it up. So, step one is actually to just, like, incorporate all the changes from over here that we've done. So we will just copy that and paste it down here. And we should be able to get this in such a way that it mostly lines up perfectly. And how is that? Yeah, like that, right? Oh, wait. So something like that. And... okay, so we're going to be dismantling some stuff, but we're not going to be building that much in. We don't need those 3 robopores. We actually don't need any of these robopores because that's not what we're doing here. Okay, so this is the setup complete with power poles and everything. So now we need to start breaking this a little bit. So we have our filter here for regular quality blue circuits, and those loop back into this. So then we have this filter here for our non-regular quality blue circuits, and those get cycled up this way, and then I think we don't have you output into this same row. So that whole thing doesn't need to exist. That's just going to be one belt like that. And it'll obviously have to be a fast belt, but whatever. So we have this. So this is just the setup for our first row, basically. Then we have, so these recyclers are only going to be recycling common blue circuits. These recyclers are going to be recycling everything above common that we get out of this first row. Okay, so in terms of the throughput of this first row can carry a stack of 16 each, right? So these stack up to 16, and it can carry 30 of those per second because we're feeding it on half of a bell. So 16 times 30, what does the math say for that one? Oh, we're building all sorts of stuff now. Someone just build this. 16 times 30 equals... Do you not have arithmetic combinators? No, you don't, apparently. Alright, that's fine. We can go over and just edit this one over here. So you are 16 times 30 is 480. So this first row of EM plants can handle up to 480 green circuits on it. And this is going to be outputting 320 green circuits. So that should be fine. Right? And we could arguably make it even faster to compensate for that, but I don't really want to do that. So this can take up to 480 green circuits on it, and then it's going to be outputting all the blue circuits. So then we have this, which is going to be cycling only the 25% of these which gave uncommons or better, plus I guess some quality of those which gave uncommons or better. Math is getting complicated. So this... oh right, these can't do quality no matter what because they're all speed moduled. I forgot that we've done that. So yeah, we just need all of these guys to go back to being productivity moduled. Because the quality modules don't actually make sense like I thought they might. Okay, so these are going to be productivity moduled, and that's fine. That's mostly just saving input rate, right? Like, we're not actually... we're just saving the amount of blue circuits that this thing drains at that point. Not actually doing anything useful, but that's fine. So then those will loop back. And actually, is that actually just an easier way of... So we have... What if we have like a common row here, which crafts all the commons up, and then all of its outputs are going to be recycled back into the first row of recyclers, and then all the rest of that will be going over this way and going up to here. So this belt here does not at all need to be connected to the rest of this stuff up here. Is that actually a pretty easy fix to make? Let's see. So this is our common belt up here. We just... let's see. So this is actually basically just how that works already. Except this... We can filter the commons out before this top group merges in, because this top group will never have commons in it by definition. Okay, let's see. So the way that would work is we would have this belt just have the common filter in, go directly over to there, while this top belt just continues along forwards. Okay, so I think the problem we're getting at here is still just that, like, the amount of belt capacity we need to do all of this is crazy because of how much is preserved and looped back. Like, we're gonna need a massive row of recyclers probably for each one. So what if we do it like this? What if we have... So this is our recycler row, right? And this is set up to be able to do 60 items per second. And I think it technically is 64, but the input belt is only 60. So we have this. And this... Let's just think. Can we grab you, and can we actually just, like, build this somewhere else even, just for, like, maximum, just expand the amount of space we have in our setup. So we have this, and what if we have, like, we're gonna need a bunch of recyclers for this. Oh, I keep shift scrolling and it keeps not working, and I keep being surprised by it. Okay, what if we just build this in... What if we just build this theoretical blueprint thing just, like, in the ocean, somewhere where we have vision but not a drone coverage? So let's find somewhere where there's a lot of ocean, like up here. There's a ton of ocean up here. We've got lightning collectors in and everything. And if we put a radar in this area, so if we just put a radar there, actually there's already radar on this island, and that's why we can see so well up here. Okay, so that should be... This should be a pretty good spot to do some blueprinting then, because there's no drone coverage, but we can see. So if we just get, like, one... Oh, okay, so we don't have drone coverage for, like, this half of it. So we need to just do it over in this gap here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we've got 4 of these in. So this first one recycles down commons and gives us a whole bunch of stuff. And then, so only common things go in here, then they get output. Then only uncommons go into here, then everything else gets output. Then only rares go into here, everything else gets output. Only epics go into here. Okay, so we have this whole setup, which is going to be a monstrous amount of quality modules. But once it gets going, it should be able to just print blue circuits like nobody's business. So then we have our... So this is going to output commons at less than 320 a minute. And then the rest of those are going to be uncommons. So then this is going to print uncommons at a little less than 320 a minute. That one epics, that one rares. So we just need... So then we just need these rows like this for all of those, and then it'll work. I wish we could do more... legendary speed modules on these recyclers, so we had to do less of them, but it should be fine. So like these guys over here are relatively efficient. Alright, so then the other thing we need to worry about is the buffering. So let's try to come up with a solution to the buffering real quick. So we have this belt here, right? And it has two types of circuits on it. And we need you to go over this way to... So, okay, so we have this belt. If we just go like 3 of those and then feed them up with stack inserters. If we just do something like that, that's 3 stack inserters, each of which, let's see, each stack inserter is 2 stacks per second approximately. So we would need like 20 of these for it to work. Yeah, that's not practical at all. So using buffer chests to sort them isn't going to work. So what if we use... So what do we do about this? What if we just have physically longer belts past here? Like if this just loops back and forth a little bit, like... I don't know, something silly, like literally just going back and forth in a snaking pattern, then that can act as a buffer. And it won't be a huge buffer, but it should be enough to equalize things out, hopefully. So what we would go like, you go down here and then back up, and then back down, and then back up. And wait, what's this belt for? I have no idea. Oh, that's just like... That was just the belt for looping things back. Yes, that can be moved as needed. So I was worried that was something important that would break if it wasn't there. Okay, so this is going to loop back and forth a bunch and use up a whole bunch of belts. And at that point, though, maybe the buffer chest situation is better. So we have like 20 of these. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we got like 20 of those, right? Yes. So then each of those feeds into a buffer chest and then feeds out from the buffer chest. So we have something like that. And so each of these... Wait, is this right? We should only need like 10 of these, right? So this is 32 items per second, because it's 16 per rotation, and it can do 2 rotations. And if we need to get up to 320 of them, then yeah, we only need 10 of these, actually. So that's a big improvement. So we have this row of 10, right? And then they just feed into that, and then they would feed back out of that. And how does this work? So we have 10 of these. We need, at any given point, they need to be able to fill up however they like, but then they need to fill out, they need to output so that we go like 10 green circuit. No, this is insanely complicated compared to just having this long loop is probably just better. Now, is this actually express transport belts? Is that enough? So this would be like half of this would be 22.5. So theoretically express transport belts would be enough, but it would be extremely close. Okay, so we've got our buffer here, but is that even right in terms of where it needs to be? Let's shove that over there. So we've got this. This filters out everything, and then we filter out the tier 1s, which go this way, and then feed into that, and then feed into a line of machines. And okay, let's get that sorted out a little bit better, and then all the rest of them would go up that way. So it'd be something like this, where the tier 1s go here, and then they go into a line of machines, which is just like this. And this whole thing has gotten jammed again, because of course it has. Still haven't at all been able to successfully drain this, but that's fine. So we just need... First of all, we need another box on you. And then we need to filter that out so that you pull those red circuits through. And okay, so now that's going. It's all looping through again. It's just so much work to get anything done, but we did get some output from it, so that's cool. So that's pretty neat. We're already seeing some output from that. Okay, so over to here, we have this. And these... Oh, right. The reason I scrolled over here in the first place was to copy-paste this blob here. And you go in like this. You go in like this somewhere. And something like that. And obviously we need... we need more radar coverage to get this, so can we just, where are those legendary power poles? Legendary big electrical poles. Let's grab one of those and just sort of drag them out this way. And if we're very careful, we can get the Spidertron to place them. Very careful, we can get the Spidertron to place them without accidentally seeing any of this stuff that we're building up there. Alright, Alright, so those are all placed. That one should be incoming. Yes. And then we can put a radar here so that we can continue to just observe this general vicinity. Spidertron has radars, right? Yes, it does. There we go. That's placed. Alright, now Spidertron can run away to be out of the way of this. So, we have this row, which is going to be... What, these are like 20 or 30 each, right? So that's 60, 120... 60, 120, 180, 240. So we do need this to expand down one more, like that. And you would go like that. And then we also need to connect those pipes up. So we're definitely going to copy paste this without thinking about it at some point. Now this is too long, actually, so let's cut you, rotate you like this, and then you can go into there. So you go in somewhere like that, while this can then connect into there to feed you. Okay, so we have that, and then this whole row will do its thing, and then we have this output, which needs to go all the way back around, and that's what we seen earlier. So this can just loop down this way, over here, up and in. Okay, but we want the input priority here to be like that. So we have blue circuits go in. We crunch those at like 60 circuits per second. Then they go out into the bulk inserters. And so all of the tier 1s get processed by this setup. And we don't want this to be doing that every single couple of them. We want that to mostly go across. So we have 6 there and 6 there, so that's a good spot to do that, to get them split across both halves. So we have this, and if we just copy paste this up, right? So then we get the same row up here to do the uncommons, then the rares, then the epics. And then we just have to produce like 20 trillion quality modules and everything for all of this to ever actually work. But we are working on that, so we've got those. Over here, these guys have done several thousand legendary blue circuits, which should be giving us a good number of legendary red circuits. And yeah, we're launching a block of 100 or so, probably, up there. So that's all good. Fulgora support. The EM science packs are really what's holding us back at this point. So, because you wait on those before you leave anywhere. So, can we get you to go any faster? You have plenty of inputs. Let's just get... Can we just get, like, a legendary speed beacon between these two? With speed modules in them. So that should accelerate you and you. Alright, so now you're at 0.68 per second and you're at 0.6 per second. So that is giving us science a good bit faster. Oh, you actually were already surrounded by... You're already surrounded by beacons, so let's just get those to be legendary beacons. So that this can run even faster. Now that's 1.6 per second. So Fulgora support, you ask for 1,000 of this at a time. Let's have you just... Yeah, let's have that be an ore. That can be an ore. And so now you should be making trips more frequently and getting all those red circuits back to Novice. But you have 288 of those at the moment. So we should be pretty well set up, honestly. And there's not much we can do to make this even better. We don't have good modules to upgrade it to or anything. So yeah, that is what it is. So we go over here. We've got all this. And we just need to... If we just copy paste that whole setup up to here, I have to get it all lined up properly and everything. Like that. Oh, not rotated. So you all get those in. Okay, why is this top one not... Why is this top one not snapping in? There we go. Okay, so we have this setup. Now the only thing we need to do is we just need these to all be different. So you get uncommons. You're going to be filtering out rares, and you are going to be filtering out epics. And then we have this belt, which we just bring up and over to here. Then this belt we just bring up and over to here. And did something funky happen with this? Or are these lined up wrong? What's this? What is this belt? That belt is... Okay, so something's gone wrong here, but it's going to be something like this setup. No, because we need those. It's this belt here which is wrong, I think. So we take this belt out, right? So that... Alright, now we have to spot the difference a bit. What is this? So this was supposed to be up here, but isn't. So this is the stuff that's wrong, I think. So we take that row out. Right, so this is doing its normal thing. You need to go in like there. Then this is the alternate, which goes up to there. And yeah, so that belt there is wrong. And this is supposed to go into that. And then that loops back around like so. And then this belt here is wrong, as is that belt up there. And all those power poles as well. Okay, for some reason we had vision on that area up until just a moment ago. Okay, so let's just bring power down to there and then put in a radar tower. So if we do that, that should give us vision back up here, which seems like we might have had anyways, but it's good to have it nonetheless. And is that... okay, apparently the only radar towers we have are on the Spidertron, so that's not going to work, but it'll be fine. So this one, we have all this output going through, and then this is our legendary output. And okay, we didn't get the quality module placements correct, so if we just copy paste those. So yeah, if we just copy paste like this segment in there, no, that's not gonna be right. So you need to be, we're just gonna do all this manually, not work about figuring out how to actually fix them. And then we should be able to copy paste this whole row up. So that goes up there. That goes up there. And then it goes up there. And we still have that annoying blind spot, so let's try to get that solved with another radar tower. Okay, so Spidertron, we still want you to sort of be walking around the edges of where we're going. But you run up this way and put a radar tower in there-ish. And then get all of these power poles connected, which is the easiest to do it like that. Okay, now there's just like the world's tiniest blind spot in the center of that row, which is very frustrating. So let's fix that up. No, not those. We want big electrical poles. So that goes all the way out to there, and then gets a radar in. Alright, now we have vision over this entire area. Except for sometimes when we don't have vision up there, because it doesn't feel like giving it. No idea why that is. But let's have the Spidertron go up and around to there to fill in that. I really don't want the Spidertron to accidentally actually build any of this. Alright, so now we have full radar coverage on everything that we need. So, is this set up correct? We've got our legendary output up there, and the blue circuits are never going to have legendary outputs, right? So this is the only legendary output we need. And so for our inputs, we have, this would be the train input or whatever, and it would feed stuff into there, and then so like a quarter of this basically. So this is gonna give us 25% quality, right? If we look over to here where the machines actually exist. So this gives quality of plus 25%. So 25% of everything that goes in here is going to go out to the next row up. And then The other 75% will loop back into this and continue the process. So we're going to be putting in like 15 blue circuits per second fresh, basically. And so then the 15 blue circuits that come out of this are going to go up there. But this is going to pretty rapidly fill up to also be 60 per second, right? Because we're going to put 15 in. And I can't think of how exactly it's going to work. So we're going to put 15 per second in. We're going to get like 12 of that into this area, which is then going to send like 11.9 or something back to here. And then by the time that happens, another second will have passed and another 15 will be in. So this should stabilize at like 40 or 50 per second, probably somewhere like that. And then the same for all of these. And hopefully these massive buffer lanes do the trick. And also hopefully these, we have enough of these in to work. And also we're going to need so many modules. The number of modules we're going to need is insane. Fortunately we have this starter setup going. It's running decently well, but now we need to make sure, yes, we need to make sure that this setup over here is powered, because boy, are we going to need to get rid of some legendary green circuits. We use a lot more legendary red circuits than we do green circuits, which means that, like, this is just going to keep loading up. You already have one full box, one almost full box, and then that one. Alright, so this is now a thing that exists. And let's get it all speed moduled so that can run extra fast. And then it shouldn't need to, right? Like, even with all this, the amount of green circuits going through is never going to be insanely high. So this should be fully functional, and it also looks like this has mostly drained as well. So we've got a couple boxes left, but this bottom row, for whatever reason, has drained much faster than the top row. But yeah, that's all seems to be functional, and let's get that power pole in, and let's get you filtered again, probably. And yeah, I think just having super long belts has everything should mostly even out, because it should be correct ratios. It should be correct ratios, like, on a long enough timeline. It's just a question of if the timeline is long enough, basically. So this setup over here, does this solves that, right? So we've got plenty of extra space on these belts for the items to sort of float around and do their thing. And what is this belt, by the way? This is the return loop. I see. So that is in the way. So this needs to go, like, over here and then down for that to work. And we need, so that works, right? So that has its return loop in. We're all fine. Then this one is in, and there's plenty of space. This one, plenty of space. Okay, so it's just that one where it was too cramped to work properly. So if there's a massive wave of green circuits, also I've just noticed that this didn't get all the productivity modules that we wanted to give it. So let's get those in. Okay, so that is all in now. And oh, the sulfuric acid input, we're going to need to deal with that, but it should be just like a long straight pipe up this way, basically. With this one being slightly off center for whatever reason. So that should be easy. We just have you go up this way. And then we're just going to get all of the underground pipes in first, just so that we can then drag in the regular pipes. So that is going to go all the way up like that. Then the regular pipes just go down from here. And then they get fed somewhere. Now, I have no idea how much sulfuric acid all of this is going to demand, but it's probably not the 100 and some that this is capable of producing. Although it might be closer than it has been in the past, but again, that's something that we will have to figure out at a later date. Okay, so this is all set up. Transport platform, are you here with more stuff? No, so you can go back to novice to prepare to deliver more stuff. Alright, so what are we missing? Are we missing anything? The big thing we're missing is that we haven't tested if this looping buffer thing works. It should work. Now, if it doesn't work, then that's going to be an issue, but I mean, we have seen here that, like, occasionally either one of them is the problem. So if we have it with this giant looping buffer thing, that should help prevent the issue. And if it does become a problem, we can have a buffer chest down this way. Okay, here's what we can do, actually. We can have this extend down to there, and then 2 boxes, which just get fed from there, and then out onto there. Now, Now they can, like, read from this belt, and if this belt gets too backed up with one type, then these can release the other type in. And that should hopefully do it. And that won't take up, like, any extra space, right? So we would just need to loop that around into here, basically, if it became necessary. So I won't build it now, but that is an option for us if it becomes necessary. And then the other thing which I want to do is I want to make sure that these belts don't go past where the last inserter is, because that will ensure that we don't have weird situations where, like, a couple items get stuck over here that don't need to be. Just to prevent that from being a problem. Okay, so we have all this. And now we just need to make it an actual thing, and I think we want it... Do we want to... There's no way we can deconstruct this, right? Because we need so many supplies to construct this at full scale that we need this to be running continually, basically. So we can't dismantle this, but we do also need, like, all the parts in it, because we're super short on modules anyways. So it's gonna be a bit of a nuisance to get this whole thing built. But let's... Yeah, no, we're gonna have to just leave it there, because I want this to be finished before we upgrade to the full massive scale version. Because this is capable of producing the red circuits that we need to actually build it. So yeah, now we have 2 full boxes of legendary green circuits, which means we are occasionally doing some recycling. But we also have 300 legendary red circuits just built up, ready to go, which is pretty huge. Alright, so then this... yeah, this system... I guess we can try... we can try to add more space onto these somehow. I don't know how to do that, really. But we can just... for now, we can just keep that overflow thing in. And are we out of... why are those not getting assigned? Why is it taking them so long to get assigned? Are we, like, out of drones or something? We have plenty of drones. We're in coverage. Alright, they did get assigned eventually. I don't know what took them so long. Oh, and that shouldn't be a stack inserter. That should just be a regular inserter to prevent weird problems from happening. Yeah, so what's happening here is, like, the green circuits are getting through this row fast enough that it's slowing down and stopping, that they're getting through here, but then they aren't actually going into the machines. So let's upgrade these guys to have multiple rows of stack inserters, just like the other ones do. And then we want to do the same for these, so that when the green circuits show up, we're able to grab all of them as fast as possible and not waste any. Alright, and for some reason, Fulgora is just way slower to assign drones to things. Possibly because everything's so far away or something. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. It's not like a power problem, right? We've got plenty of power. I wonder if it's just like a lag problem? I wonder if we're at the point where things are starting to slow down from lag. I hope not. That would suck. Alright, so transport platform is back above novice, and it's actually got a good supply. It's got 16 productivity modules and 48 quality modules. So we're going to send you back over. And Fulgora support is coming back. It is going to be picking up even more legendary red circuits. So yeah, that's just sort of in progress now, and every delivery we make will make it more efficient and faster with these quality modules getting improved. So that should be good. And at this point, I think we just add in more fresh supply of blue circuits. Yeah, let's just pop that in. And it takes quite a while, actually. Taking quite a while for the drones to approve that placement. But there they go, they've done it. Alright, so now we have a nice, solid, fresh supply of blue circuits going in. And that should hopefully keep us busy for a while. So now all these guys can produce at full speed. And transport platform is on its way back. Fulgora support is here, and it's got 400 and some red circuits. And now you're just waiting for inactivity. And you're supplying some bulk inserters. That's all good. Alright, so this should be should be good to leave and just bring these advanced circuits back pretty soon. See how long this inactivity section lasts. Also, have you managed to pick up any more recyclers? There are 6 legendary recyclers available on planet. Well, we need like 20 trillion of them. So what's up with that? You need legendary iron gear wheels. We apparently have enough of everything else. Oh, are we? Is this just producing boundlessly? Yeah, it is. Let's cap that at 1 stack, just so that we don't destroy all of our stuff. Alright, so the legendary iron gear wheels, those are supposed to be coming in on Fulgora support, right? You don't have any of those. So Novice should be crafting those. There shouldn't be any problems with them. Where are they? They're here. Yeah, Novice has got 200, so that's just a temporary problem. Alright, I think we are all good. So now we're mostly just waiting on this to just sort of grind it out. Like, we just need to produce a massive amount of modules and just keep that running until we get enough modules to get this whole thing going. And then once this whole thing is going, and let's get some of these guys don't have power poles. And once that's going, then we can get even more red circuits to make even more modules to get the even larger super ultra legendary scale thing going. And then we'll have all the red circuits we could ever want. Hopefully. Hopefully that should just completely resolve the issue. Once that thing is online, I think if we have red circuit shortages, then something's gone seriously wrong. But I think that's a good spot to wrap up for the day. So that's about it. Thanks, Em, for hanging out. Tomorrow we are doing Satisfactory, where we are like very, very close to finishing the game. So our mega scale save has taken a long time to complete, but it's just about there. So if you're interested in that, make sure to stop by it then, so that you can see what that's like. And over here, not doing too shabby either. Our legendary quality stuff is like real close to taking off and going crazy. But yeah, that's about it. We will see you guys next time. I stream every weekday from 2 to 5 Eastern Time. So if you're around then, make sure to stop by and give me a follow if you haven't already, so that you know when I'm live, when I'm playing. I'll be back in Factorio on Wednesday. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks, Ed, for hanging out, and I will see you guys